Hello, how you doing today? Welcome back to another video. This is another movie review. Yeah, I've been up since like 4 or 5 this morning. Kind of thing. You get up, go to the bathroom, and for some reason you can't go back to sleep. And it's like getting to be 90 degrees today at the time of this recording. You might not see this till later June or early July. But anyway, let's get on with this. I was thinking about going to the gym early, then come doing watch these videos, then these movies, then do a video. It didn't work that way. So let's get started. It's a movie I saw years ago. Trying to remember what year this movie is. Dang. I usually remember these kinds of things. Is that 2003? 2003. 2003. Is this 2003? Really? Yes, it's 2003. This movie came out in 2003. Now, mind you, both the X-Men and the first Spider-Man movie came out in the year 2000 and 2002 and 2000 whatever. So this movie came out in 2003 at the hype of all this. Did it do very well in theaters? No, it didn't. Is it a good cult movie, like something that people like me will watch? Yes. That movie is Daredevil. Ben Affleck, at the end of his so-called movie career-ish, still in high demand at that time. Daredevil was one of his favorite comic book characters. Yes, he reads comic books. He even expressed many times Kevin Smith are best friends, and Kevin Smith makes a cameo in this movie. Frank Miller made a cameo in this movie as well, because Frank Miller also helped revolutionize Daredevil, and so did Kevin Smith. And this is kind of slightly based off of both a mixture of Frank Miller and Kevin Smith's run, a little bit. 2 hours. Now here's the thing: most of us understand Daredevil from the Netflix TV show. If you want to compare this Daredevil to that one, this Daredevil is like the inept cousin. The Netflix Daredevil is like really good. This one is like, what happened here? It's like a throwback to the old movies. Watching this movie makes me feel like I'm watching a movie from the 90s. Like Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman movies from the 90s. That's what the feel is. And of course, they couldn't just have Daredevil on his own. They have Elektra as well. Funny thing is that the movie was good. Kind of replays his story, his origin in a very good fashion, which is great. Then the one cool thing about it shows his echolocation, about how his radar sense works. It does really good with that. But down part about it is that Daredevil, in the comics, know how to filter out sounds. This guy's like, derp! A loud noise, a subway train throws him off. He has to sleep in a deprivation chamber just to block out the noise. And I'm like, if you've been doing this since you were a kid, you should know how to not listen to certain things. But no, of course not. Hell's Kitchen, he's tearing apart the Kingpins. Now, one thing is, like, nowadays people are complaining about race swapping. This guy was white, but now he's black. Like, for example, the new X-Men film, they're considering making Magneto a black man. I don't know how to feel about that myself personally because I'm a comic book fan and I do like some kind of purity. But the problem is that unless you could do it right, don't do it at all. For example, Sam Wilson as Captain America was done right. It was done right. Trying to think of something I can't think of her at the moment. Loading, 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 loading. Miles Morales, the Enter the Spider-Verse universe, done right. Okay, because you didn't replacing. You're kind of replacing, but you're not totally replacing these characters. It's just another aspect of the character. Vig Rhames. No, not Vig Rhames. It was Michael Clark Duncan. Michael Clark Duncan. Now, the fun thing is that I can see he was very good at that role. Now, of course, Vincent D'Onofrio from the Netflix show did an awesome job. But Michael Clark Duncan did a really great job as being the Kingpin in here. He looks imposing. He looks like he's a badass, like the Kingpin's supposed to be. That's great. And also stars Colin Farrell in one of his first early movies. The only thing I didn't like about his bullseye was the tattooed bullseye on his face, on his head. And then what happens? The comic books started doing the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate when comic books do that. I remember back in the when the X-Men movies came out, they came out instead of the color spandex, they came out in tight leather. And then what happened? The comic books started doing the same thing, and I'm like, I'm not buying the comic book. I'm buying the comic book because I'm a fan. Please don't mimic the movies. Even though Captain America's movie costumes wasn't comic book accurate, but it was close enough. But anyway, Matt Murdock meets Elektra. They have a little romance. Her dad gets killed because he wants to leave the Kingpin's organization. So she decides to get revenge. She fights Daredevil because Daredevil was framed for her father's murder. Then she realizes that Murdock is Daredevil. Nice fight scene includes. And Bullseye kills her just like he does in the comic book, which was really good. Kills her. Then they fight in a church. Him and Bullseye fight in the church. Throws him out the window. Goes against the Kingpin. Breaks his legs. And then there you go. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. When I first saw this in 2003, 2004, I was like, man, this is a pretty good movie. Years later, I saw this again. I said, man, this is a pretty good movie. Today, it's decent. I guess over time, it kind of tells me if I still have that same feelings when I first saw it. Now, I did not see this in theaters. And since I didn't see this in theaters, I didn't have that initial reaction. But in a sense, is this a good movie? It's decent. If you never saw the Netflix Daredevil TV show, then this is a pretty decent movie. Very decent movie. If you've seen the Netflix Daredevil TV show, this is like, it's okay. It's okay. Would I recommend this to you? I would say, think about this. Ben Affleck, one of Daredevil and Batman is Ben Affleck's favorite superheroes, and so he plays both his favorite superhero characters, and he did very well in it. But I think he played Batman better, in my opinion. Would I recommend this movie? I would say, don't watch this movie unless you're a pure Daredevil fan and you really want to see it. I wouldn't watch this. Watch the Netflix TV show. That's in my opinion. Now, because of the minor success of that, they decided to do an Elektra movie. This is a continuation of the Daredevil movie. Daredevil does not make an appearance, thank goodness. It's basically Elektra versus the Hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Elektra versus the Hand. Yes, I bought this when it first came out. Now think about this. At this time, Jennifer Garner had a good hot TV show. She just came off the heels of the super hot TV show Alias or something like that. And she was kind of in demand in the movies and stuff like that. So boom, naturally. Since when did she has OCD? She never showed signs of OCD in the original movie. In the Daredevil movie, so maybe when she got resurrected, she ended up with OCD. I don't know. And she's fighting the Hand, which is a group of ninjas. The coolest thing was the two guys. I forgot Kari Hiroki Tagawa or something, and Yuli. They're very big Asian actors in the Hollywood market. Big of the opera to work, because one was singing something at the Mortal Kombat, and the other one, I forgot what he was in. He was in some other stuff, but the story revolves around her being an assassin for hire, her having OCD. She gets hired to kill this guy and this girl and his daughter. She goes there, and she ends up rescuing them from the real assassins to save her soul. Her mentor Stick hired her to do this to save her soul. So she decides to try to save these couple, the father and daughter, as much as she can. She gets her ass kicked a couple times because she doesn't understand what's going on. You're fighting super powered ninjas. So, one of the famous ones is Stone, in which he was like an immortal immortal ninja from the Hand. Take a gunshot, nothing happens. She sticks her size on him, it breaks, but a tree falls and kills him. Then you had Typhoid Mary. This other tattooed dude, and which had like tattoos, comes alive and shit like that. And I forgot what the other guy's name, but it was, like I said, I don't even remember the people's name. I just saw it like an hour ago, and I don't even remember their damn names. That's how, in my opinion, this is kind of like a ridiculous movie. If I would have saw this in the movie theaters, I'd be like, what the flippin' flapper versus this? I bought this. I thought I gave this away. I thought I gave this to my mother. Obviously I didn't, because it made it right back to me. The problem is that, hey, since I bought it, I might as well keep it, right? I mean, the last time I saw this, this movie came out when? What, 2005? Maybe? 2005, maybe? The one thing was funny, the Daredevil had a Stan Lee cameo, but this one did not. Stan Lee probably said, hey, fuck that. 2005, yeah. Daredevil was in 2003, this one in 2005. Oh, I digress from the story. She finds out that the girl is like this prodigy, super ninja kind of thing. So they decide to get her, and of course, she's better than Elektra. She's more powerful than Elektra. It's only she had the training. It's kind of like Rey from Star Wars. Rey's like the most powerful Jedi ever without training. But at least this one, she's kind of like an inept. She's good for a hot second, then she's, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Big fight. I'm skipping all. I'm skipping all the rest of that shit. Big fight happened. She rescues the kid. She decides to go her own way. They gonna go their own separate ways. What did I watch this morning? I don't know. Man, I think I need you know what I need to do? Okay. I do that with all my videos, except for my Blu-rays. DVDs that, I do like Daredevil at least. Elektra not so much, so I can do that. As long as it didn't hit the floor and break, shatter, or whatever, that's fine. But, I feel like I gotta go. I should go to the gym and work out to wash off all this stuff from my eyes and my ears and my nose and my mouth. That kind of left a bad taste. That Elektra movie left a bad taste in my mouth. I recommend you pass on that unless you want to get drunk and want to laugh at stupid shit. But anyway, that's the review of these two movies. Like I said, this is a double banger because they're kind of related, so I kind of want to do them both together instead of separate videos for both. I'm glad I did it this way because I'm like, I want to throw this back. I want to throw this back into the bin, and I don't see it for another few years. Then maybe 2 or 3 years later, or 5 or 6 years later, I'll pull it out, watch it, and be pissed off again that I bought it. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Hope you liked them. If you saw any of these two movies, let me know down below. Let me know what you think about them. If you haven't seen them and you want to try to see them, if you want to buy them, hope you don't spend too much money on them. Hopefully you don't. Because if you do, yeah, try to buy them cheap. If you have to. Or if you rent it, make sure it's a rent it is cheap because it's, I don't know. Oh well. With that being said, thank you very much. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the routines. You can even share this if you like. Other than that, this is Mr. Have no clue what the hell he's doing, Art Warren, and I'll see you in the next video.